For those of you who are just joining, my name is Peter Schravemade. I am the managing partner of Reach Australia, Australia and New Zealand. Actually, we've just gone through a logo change. We're incorporating the Kiwis, one of which we have on the call today, and we should introduce them very soon. But if you're unaware, I'm also a board member of the Proptech Association of Australia, and quite proudly part of the awards event that went on last month. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, I've got a few nods from the panelists. It went on last month. That was the 4th Proptech Awards, as far as I'm aware. 4th or 3rd, Kylie, correct me. 4th? You don't know. I believe it was the 4th. I don't have Kylie Davis. Yeah, it was. Anyway, we're 3rd or 4th. By far the most successful. Another sellout event. 350 people, and we were fielding calls after we had sold that event out from people saying, can I buy more tickets? So if you haven't ever been to a Proptech Association of Australia Awards, feel free to put that on your calendar for next year. Generally, they will happen in the month of July, so keep an eye out for that at the Proptech Association of Australia webpage. Now, today, I've got joining me as a guest host, because it's her fault that we're talking about this particular topic today. I'm delighted to have Laura Shooter all the way from SJ Shooter in Dubbo. Laura, how are you?
Good, thank you, Peter.
Yep, thank you for coming along board. And talk to me, why did you go to the Proptech Association of Australia Awards event? You're not involved in PropTech, are you?
That is true. Well, I mean, I use a lot of PropTech.
There you go.
But Kylie invited me to be a judge this year, so that was kind of the opening. But I've just found that I really love being around the PropTechers, and I think it's that they're on that edge of impact at scale. And I mean, who doesn't want to be in a room full of people who are using their talent and their money and their time to make the difference they want to see in the world?
That's a very magnanimous response. I could have said a lot of negative things in there, but you're such a positive person. It was fantastic actually to see you there. I do believe it is something that the general real estate community could do better, is actually engage with the property technology in order to guide it in the way that they feel it should go. A lot of people just pay their money for a specific subscription and don't start the conversation. So I was delighted to see you there. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for doing the judging. Greatly appreciated. Now, to introduce the rest of our esteemed guests today, who were all Property Technology Award winners, and I'm going to put them on the spot and ask them what award they won. Hopefully they haven't forgotten just yet. Let's start with the ladies first. Kylie Dillon, who is joining us all the way from Perth. Kylie, please say g'day. What award did you win?
Hey, thanks, Pete. We won the most innovative startup in efficiency and optimization.
What does that mean? What does efficiency and optimization mean? Why is there that category?
Yeah, really good question. I think there's been a lot of talk around digitizing current processes and whether or not that actually do you fall into a PropTech category if you create a technology that is really just around efficiency and optimization? So there is digitizing the paper process, and then there's revolutionizing a paper process. So, and I think it's an excellent category. It is a really big category, which I love. It tells us that there is a lot of opportunity out there for technology, or for the way that we currently do things, to have a new look and feel.
Absolutely. Yep. A good description. Thank you for saving me as to why we have that category. And if you're unaware, Kylie was actually a board member of the Proptech Association of Australia only last year, weren't you, Kylie?
I was, yeah.
You have been instrumental in the Proptech Association's existence. So thank you for that. And your hard work is appreciated. You are joining us from Perth or nearby?
Perth today.
Perth today. Fantastic.
Tomorrow would have been a different story. The day after that would have been a different story again.
Yeah, correct. I can relate. Let's move along. Ludwina Dautovic. Have I pronounced that correctly? Please spare me the blushes.
That'll do.
That'll do. So that's a no. That's a no. Negative, none from one. Wait till we get to Christian's last name and I'll butcher that as well. Ludwina, it's great to have you on board. You're obviously with the Room Exchange. What award did you win on the night?
So the most innovative scale up for environment, social and sustainability.
Right, and we're going to delve. That's pretty self-explanatory. I can understand that, but we're going to delve into why you might have won that award during the conversation. Where are you joining us from, Ludwina?
Melbourne.
Melbourne, freezing cold Melbourne. It's 24 degrees in Queensland, but you don't want to know that, do you?
No, I don't.
Well, it's great to have you on board. Great to have you too, Kylie. Let's go to the men on the call, and let's start with the one that's furthest away, Chris McGoldrick from ListAssist. Chris, where are you joining us from?
Good afternoon. I'm in Auckland.
You're in Auckland. Now, see, I have a problem with this because it's the Proptech Association Awards of Australia. Is this the we're claiming Crowded House as being our own band? Is that what this is?
I mean, in terms of us winning the award, we have no complaints. So I don't know exactly how that worked, but we've got no pushback from us.
Fantastic. Chris, you are with ListAssist. What award did you win on the night?
So we won the most innovative startup category. We won the Sales and Marketing Award.
Excellent. And we're going to get into why that is in a minute as well. But that category is, I think, fairly self-explanatory as well. So let's move on. Let's go to our last guest for today. Last but not least, Christian Schwerdtfeger. Have I got that correct?
Yep, you got it.
Thank you, Christian. Way nicer than Ludwina, who just goes, it'll do. So welcome to the call. You're joining us from Brisbane, is that right?
Yep. Yeah,
and you're with IMMERSIV. What award did you win?
So we were up for 2 awards. We're in the sales and marketing category for startup and the Proptech to watch, and we came away with Proptech to watch. So very chuffed with that.
Now, the Proptech to watch award is a very interesting award. It's probably one of my favorite awards of the show. Do you understand how that award works?
Well, looking at all the previous winners of it, we know we've got big shoes to fill. As we always say, pressure makes diamonds. So we're up for the challenge.
The winner of that award has gone on to do big things each year. So no pressure, Christian.
But we feel it.
To explain it to the listeners a little bit, Proptech to watch is somebody who perhaps, or a technology company or solution that didn't perhaps win in the category that they were in, but is voted by another panel of judges as being having great potential. So I hesitate to use a runners-up award, but it is actually, you've been recognised by your peers as being a property technology solution that's of merit. So congratulations. That is my favourite award, that one there. Not that I have favourites, I'm not allowed to do that, but I do particularly like that award. Now let's move along, because the idea of this session today, if you've joined us, is we've got 5 PropTech solutions and we've got Laura Shooter on the call. And Laura started this by saying to me, actually at the awards night, there is a lot of technology in this room that I do know, and there's a lot of technology that I do not know. And so, on this call today, we've got 4 property technology solutions that may not be as well known as some of the bigger winners, especially in the established categories of some of the larger companies like CoreLogic, etc. We're well aware of what they are because they have large operating budgets, and their branding gets in front of us. So today, that doesn't necessarily, there's no reflection on them. Some of you guys are startups, some of you guys are scale-ups, but we're going to find out today what is the solution you're actually offering to the property technology community. And why I've got Laura on the call is I thought it'd be great to bring in an operational real estate agent to ask some hard questions of the PropTechers that are in here, and to really forge that solution. So I'm going to ask some questions. Feel free to answer in your categories. I'm not going to direct them specifically at anyone, but I'll weave in and out as we go. So I would like to start with, let's go with Christian, because he was last first. Christian, can you describe your PropTech solution? What does it do? Who are your clients? What's the problem it solves?
Yeah, sure. So we operate in the unbuilt property space. We work across house and land, apartment, commercial, master plan communities, and we've created a platform where a buyer can essentially visualize the unbuilt. So that's traditionally been done with 3D renders and animation. We've taken it a step further by providing a holistic platform that allows a sales agent to take a buyer on a much more deeper dive of a journey. And it's all in photorealistic real-time technology. We've leveraged a plethora of game design programs and topography and exterior solutions to create a platform that is released in a showroom. So a sales agent can walk a buyer through in a sales showroom just like they traditionally would. But then we've also been able to replicate that same experience online. So it opens up a global audience for any project really, because you're able to have that same showroom experience on a project website, on any listing portal like realestate.com or Domain or OpenLot. And the buyer just gets a lot more information about the development than they would by looking at maybe just a static render. We still do renders and animation because it's important to the whole marketing mix, but we're really just elevating the sales agent's ability to, show a buyer a project in a lot more detail. Buyers are a lot more inquisitive these days as well. They're used to using Google Maps and different 3D virtual tours like Matterport. So to be able to leverage all this amazing technology for the unbuilt world is sort of a gap in the market that we've identified and forged ahead with.
So let me ask first a question of Laura. Do you understand what Christian does?
Yes. I do have a question. So are they seeing this on a screen, or are you using goggles, or?
That's a very good question. So we can do both. In a sales showroom, it'll be driven by an agent. So someone like yourself will walk a buyer through on a touch screen or a TV or wall-mounted TV. But you can also put VR goggles on as well and walk around an apartment interior or walk through a commercial precinct. And the real benefit is that it's all in real time, so nothing's static. So all the lighting is dynamic, and you're really able to get feedback from the buyer one-on-one. If they want to walk around the corner and see a butler's pantry, they can do that. They can really explore every part of it. And by doing that, the developer, who is the client, will be able to build a lot of trust with the buyer, because you're not really withholding any information. You're showing everything in a really engaging way, which is something that's not really been able to be done before.
Do you have another question, Laura, or can I fire one at Christian? So Christian, the burning question I always get asked about your technology is what makes you stand out from the cesspool of other renders doing 360s that are out there?
That's a good question. So traditional 360 virtual tours are like Matterport, where they're taken with a bunch of 360 panoramic images. Now they are still good tours, but they're not dynamic, and they're not in real time. You don't get a real sense of space when you're walking through those tours, because they're really just panoramic images that are stitched together to create a virtual replication from the thing. We also get a lot more photorealism out of our tour. You're able to, change things like level views for apartments. So if you want to show someone a floor plate that's on level 10, you can just swap the view out and you can be on level 3. A lot more interactivity.
Now, I am really familiar with Christian's product, very familiar, and a big fan of it. One of the things he hasn't told that I think that listeners need to know, really, really sick. He uses a gaming engine basically to do this. It feels as though you should be in a 4K cinema looking at it. But one of the things that I like the most about what Christian does is that the benefit to the purchaser is that they can show the apartment at different times of day. They can show the way the light will interact inside the apartment. They can also drop in different bench tops. So if you've got a couple of different style guides for the unbuilt property, as he refers to them, or off the plan, as we talk about it up here in Queensland, if you want to drop in a different tabletop, he can do it at the touch of the button, and immediately you can see the granite bench top as opposed to the porcelain bench top. And things like that really, really appeal to purchasers, because it doesn't, a lot of the purchasers that are out there, they don't have an imagination and they can't see what this would look like. Christian, good job on the sales process, but I think it's absolutely essential. Have you figured out a way to build in sound yet?
Like atmospheric sound?
Yeah. Can you imagine if you could show the street sound from an immersive perspective? It would be another sense that is not there.
That's true. Yeah. No, we have that for VR, but it can be turned on and off if you like it, just as per the client's request. Yeah. Can
you imagine if you could hear a streetscape of where it was? So yeah. Anyway, super cool technology. If you haven't seen it before, it's immersive. Missing an E at the end. The guys obviously didn't know how to spell when they came up with the name. Is that right? No, was that domain available? Is that what it was?
It was just I think that name was taken to some other degree. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, congratulations on the win and great product. I'll come back to you in a bit with some more questions. Let's move right along, because I want to get a taste of all of these Proptech solutions straight off the bat. Let's go to Perth. Welcome again, Kylie. Now, you're with Realtime Conveyancing. Does that mean I can call you up and you'll do my conveyancing for me?
Absolutely not. And it's
Oh.
real-time conveyance. Not
Is that just because I'd
conveyancing.
be a terrible client, or is that because you don't do that?
Yeah, it's because we don't do conveyancing. But for those that may not know, conveyancing is traditionally a very heavily paper-based process, largely unchanged for 150 years, and often referred to as the black hole. And by that, we mean that real estate agents, finance brokers, sellers, and buyers have no visibility over the process. So Real-Time Conveyancer is the first seamlessly integrated and automated cloud-based digital, we call it a transaction management system, offering an end-to-end solution that's been built by conveyancers for anybody doing conveyancing, including lawyers. We automate and streamline that conveyancing process from contract to keys, and we do that through digital innovation. But basically that means we bring all parties, providing complete transparency and visibility throughout the entire process, so from the contract to keys. And we do that by way of two core components, so the core platform and a mobile application that we have. A mobile application is what we call Pathway to Settlement, and it solves pain points for sellers and buyers during what is typically a very, very stressful time. Our app is a convenient, compliant, and cyber secure communication channel where live updates are available 24/7. We can document share through the platform. We can securely exchange bank account information. There is digital signing and a concierge services. They're largely our key features. And it's overall, it's to help make the process seamless and stress-free for home buyers and sellers. But it does give the visibility to real estate agents and finance brokers as well. The research that we did with consumers came back telling us that up to 64% of sellers and buyers rated the conveyancing experience as anywhere from less than ideal to incredibly traumatic. And as a conveyancer, that was really, really hard for me to hear. But it's largely also why Real-Time exists. So I guess in summary, Real-Time empowers conveyancers and lawyers and their clients to execute faster, safer, and smoother property settlements. We have settled over 10,000 transactions through the platform here in WA, and we now have several firms beta testing for us in readiness for a rollout in South Australia, which is imminent. And I think it's really exciting for us to now be able to say that we find ourselves moving away from a startup to a scale-up company.
Yep, absolutely. Laura, do you understand that pitch? Do you understand what Kylie does?
I do understand the pitch. And I do have a question. What do you mean by concierge services?
So the sellers and buyers can connect directly to connect their gas, their electricity, their phones, NBN. They can book a removalist. Basically, the tool is available to conveyancing firms who can they can white label that product, but they can then generate revenue from it. So for some, you're a perfect example, Laura, being in Dubbo, you would have a community of firms around you, people that you like dealing with. And we all know that people like dealing with people that they like. So you would be able to white label that app, and you would be able to bring in all your local Dubbo communities and offer those services to your sellers and to your buyers.
Yeah, as a conveyancer. So I'm just thinking from a real estate agent's perspective, we like to offer those referrals as well for that additional revenue stream as well. So I wondered if there'd be any hesitation there from real estate agents in I guess promoting an avenue where they might lose that. Hard question.
The benefit with the concierge service is that you can split the revenue. So you can share revenue streams, and you can do that with whoever you like, however you like, so long as it is in compliance, so long as it meets compliance within your Real Estate or Conveyancing Act within your state. Obviously, there are various states that have I guess there's not the provision to be able to refer in case there's a reward for referral, but as a conveyancer, I can share that revenue with my team. So if my conveyancers themselves wanted to go ahead and make that referral and they were using the concierge service, they also can generate revenue.
Yeah, and correct, very cool.
Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, Kylie. Your average target would be a conveyancer themselves. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. And the offerings that sometimes come to from the conveyancers to the sellers and buyers are the fact that it's it's in the hands. The app is going to be consumer driven. So we want them to be able to use that app every day of the week. And the fact that they have one login, that login lasts them a lifetime. So no matter how many times they sell or buy a property, and no matter which conveyancing firm they use, all of those details are just within the app.
So I know from being an agent in a previous life, I was an agent, but I'm okay now, right, Laura? No, but I know from being an agent in a previous life, the conveyancing process is just heartburn for any purchaser that's going through it, especially first-time buyers. Like, just shocking. They don't get it. In the US, you actually have an agent, a buyer's agent, to help you through that process. In Australia, we leave them to their lawyers. And I know that's fraught with a lot of issues. You really smooth that process out and speed up the whole transaction the way through, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that we've seen that already happening, being able to reduce settlement timeframes. There's obviously the transparency and the visibility has been key, and we know that sellers and buyers are starting to demand that. We know that sellers and buyers are converging to technology that provides them convenience, transparency, basically options. And I think so back to Laura's point with the app, the real estate agents tend to refer finance brokers, termite companies, building companies. Conveyancer, by the time the deal's already got to the conveyancer, those referrals are done. So our referrals are more around the choice of connecting, Optus, Telstra, NBN, electricity and gas, things that a real estate agent wouldn't normally be referring because they're at the opposite end of the transaction.
Understood. We're going to move along. Laura, can I ask you, did you know what IMMERSIV did or Real-Time Conveyancer prior to being on this call? Or
not IMMERSIV, and a little bit about Real-Time Conveyancer.
Excellent. Good. We're going to move along to the Room Exchange, and I'm delighted to have Ludwina. I met Ludwina over a phone call and a podcast. Would that be correct? I met you in person at the Proptech Association Awards. Another good reason to come to the awards is you'll find out that these are just not talking heads or deep fakes that sit on these webinars. These people actually exist. Happy days. Ludwina, tell me about the Room Exchange. This is a pretty exciting social initiative, right?
Yes, you could call us a social enterprise, but we are a for-profit company. So essentially, we're in year 6. We are Australia's first and only verified house sharing platform. So there's over 13 million unused spare bedrooms in 10 million homes across Australia. I see that as existing housing stock that's laying dormant in many homes who right now are struggling with multiple interest rates and high cost of living. And many of them, like myself as well, are having to come up with an additional $1,000 a month or so to cover their mortgage costs. But that spare bedroom is an asset that's laying there dormant. But when you think about homeowners, they don't see themselves as house sharers. And typically this space has been the domain of 20-something-year-olds who are, going and renting a room in a house with a bunch of other people renting a room in a house, and that's not who we are. So our primary supply are homeowners with their spare bedrooms who are looking to capitalize on that. Now, when I talk about verification, when Digital ID by Australia Post launched the same year that we did, we're one of their early adopters. So we've integrated their technology through an API into ours. So when people register, their information that they input, if that doesn't match exactly as the ID that they use, then they won't get verified. And what that does, it removes potential problematic people from our platform. So homeowners who might be a little reticent about renting their spare room because they don't know who they're going to get in, they can feel confident knowing that unless people are comfortable identifying themselves in that way, they won't complete our process. And the second thing is that our profiles make it easy to be matched based on personality, values, and lifestyle. So you feel like you're coming home to a friend. And that's generally the second main objection to homeowners renting their private space. And the third thing, and this is really unique to the Room Exchange, is that you can choose the traditional rental model, or you can choose our rent offset option, which means that you can offset part or all of your rent by requesting additional help around the house. So as a housemate, you would have to keep your own spaces clean, of course, and help out with cooking and general cleaning. But as a homeowner, so for myself, I have 2 housemates now that my adult children have left home. One of them is on a full rent offset, and he helps us out about 8 hours a week, 4 hours of which he delivers postcards in letterboxes for me for the room exchange. And the other 4 hours, he does our floors, and my kitchen's always clean. That makes me very happy. And our other housemate pays rent. So we can choose how we want to utilize that space, and it just gives homeowners the option, and also renters, if they want to save some money, they can choose that option as well.
Laura, you've seen this product, right? You've seen the
full disclosure.
Yes.
Ludwina and I have had some pretty long, detailed chats about this.
And you're a believer, right?
I am. Yeah. I'm a true believer. And honestly, so one of my special interests has been housing shortage and the impact that's going to have, especially on vulnerable people. And what I see in the room exchange is an actual viable solution to unlock some of that latent supply that we have in our existing housing stock. And one of the few things that could actually make a real impact in the short term, which we need short-term solutions to get us through this supply issue, because supply takes time.
Excellent.
That wasn't a question. That was a statement.
No, that was a pitch. You're now on the payroll of the room exchange. But let me ask you a question. So you run a rent roll, and you're interested in referring to this particular technology solution. Is that correct?
Yeah, so this is one of the things with us. So as a practitioner, I have concerns about my level of promotion, in that I don't want to be seen promoting subletting. So that's prohibited in some leases. So it is pitched mainly at homeowners, which makes sense. So I've got access to all the homeowners, both like all our landlords, a lot of them own homes as well. So that would be who I'd be promoting it to. So the other thing we were looking at was that latent supply for things like community events, and is it something that we could use to help have greater capacity to bring events to town and things like that.
Excellent. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great insight, and it's good hearing it from somebody who's got a rent roll as to how they're actually actively utilizing this. Now, Ludwina, homelessness is becoming a huge problem all around Australia. How is your solution actually actively getting? Do you think it's getting people off the street? Is it an alternative? Is that where this sits? Can you talk to that?
Yeah, thanks for asking the question, because we need to be really clear about who we are and who we're not. We're not a solution to homelessness. People who find themselves in that circumstance, and I know this firsthand because I made a decision to invite somebody into my home who had been experiencing homelessness, so I could know firsthand the challenges that would be faced through it. We are not that. Mm-hmm. These people require a lot of social support. Mental health is usually something that's associated once your life deteriorates and goes down that way. It's a very sad, very difficult time to be in, but we can't support people like that. And we also can't expect our homeowners to be carers for people in that instance. So absolutely not. However, there are stages when people a lot of stages that occur before that occurs. Yep. And everybody here, preventative, yes. Yep. So, for example, women over 50, we know that they're a major demographic that's struggling with housing insecurity right now post-divorce. As soon as that occurs and they're waiting a couple of years for the settlement to come through, they could become a housemate in one of our homes. Maybe go on a rent offset, save some money for a couple of years, help get back up on their feet before they move on, as opposed to going down going down that route. So, let's help people at the moment when they need it, as opposed to waiting then. And then that then puts additional pressure on our social welfare system. But thanks for asking the question.
Yeah, understood. And I think that's a really good delineation, because I've had somebody actually say to me that's what the room exchange does, and that wasn't my understanding. So thanks for clearing that up. By the way, just on the issue of homelessness, at the Proptech Association Awards, we raised money for a charity called Orange Sky, and they do have a solution for homelessness. So if you're interested in checking those guys out, go and Google Orange Sky. Great initiative out of Brisbane, God's country up here. Not that I'm picking favourites again. Now, moving on, we'll go to a last but certainly not least. One of my favourite Proptech solutions, not that I'm allowed to have favourites, so I can't say that anymore, is Christopher McGoldrick. Only his mother calls him Christopher. Everyone else refers to him as Chris. And he's all the way from Auckland today. Chris, thank you for being with us. Now, talk to me about ListAssist. What the heck is that?
Well, firstly, thank you very much again for having me. So what we do at ListAssist is we're an AI business, and we've built a range of tools, all with the focus of empowering agents to focus on people, not process, right? So we're trying to capture as much of their process that they tend to hate doing and enable them to do what makes agents great, right? Which is deal with people, make deals happen. So we started with automated property listing descriptions last year. And what we were immediately able to do was build our own computer vision, which is essentially the ability to understand property images. And that's really kind of helped us build a range of products on top of that. The biggest product now, Laura, and what may be most interesting to you is our home search product, which is essentially a conversational AI chat that would sit on your agency website. And through things like our computer vision, we can understand every listing that you currently have live on your website. So we can understand all of the photos, features, room types, as well as that we can understand like the listing descriptions and any manual tags and locational data. And as we engage with your website visitors, that enables us to serve them the homes that truly suit what they're looking for in a home. So, you know, they could come on and say, I want red walls, I want, you know, a big backyard for the dog. If it's covered in any of those sort of things that we're able to process and understand, we serve them the top listings with a match score and then deliver you all of that lead information in real time. So, you know, kind of the coolest feedback we're getting at the moment is from agents who are talking about how much more immediate they're able to create a connection with their client because they know so much more about them. You know, that first call now or first meeting is not, hey, Laura, I understand you're interested in 50 Smith Street. It's, you know, we know you want red walls. I'm not sure if you want red walls. That's just I'm not very creative under pressure. But that's just kind of an example. And again, that empowers us to serve them the right properties and then positions agents to be able to come in and kind of skip that first meeting. You know, they have all that additional information. And again, you're able to serve them much more immediate value.
Yeah, super interesting.
You got any questions for him, Laura?
Oh, that's really interesting. So I didn't know anything about ListAssist until the pitch there. So yeah, and this is the thing, like so many of our inquiries come through, you know, after hours. So it's kind of like even though we love to do it in a phone call, you're able to serve them such richer information. Question. I guess
if you have a credit card, we can sign you up now. If you want. If we can go live.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking more after.
Don't give him your credit card details.
Not straight away.
You guys may not be aware, but you know, Chris was subject to identity theft recently.
Oh, really?
So there's a little bit of a backstory to that.
I'm about $500,000 in the can, Laura. So anything that you could contribute would be just greatly appreciated.
Oh man, that's tough. I guess I am curious, like what's next? So what do you want to build next through your platform?
Yeah, so again, for us, it's just capturing as much of that process as possible. So we started, as I say, with the listing descriptions. We have automated messaging via email and text that we do through integrations with, with CRMs, kind of enabling lead nurturing. Through that computer vision as well, particularly in America, we're doing stuff with MLSs over there. We just signed the Beverly Hills MLS with 18,000 agents. So every time one of those 18,000 goes to upload a listing, we process all of their images for tags, image captions, which are required there under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And each state has compliance laws as well, you know, which like you can't have a pet in the photo and all that kind of stuff. So we automate all of that at the upload stage of their listing. So there's a whole kind of range of things keeping us busy at the moment. The home search product is what's kind of generating the most excitement and most traction in the market.
So you at the moment, you've got a couple of different targets as far as target audiences. One is portals effectively, or aggregators of listings, right? Now, Ludwina happens to be such a portal. Ludwina, I don't know if you understood or understand what Chris is saying, but one of the coolest parts about what he does, and this is not matchmaking, I didn't have you on here, so you do an API integration with each other. But one of the coolest parts about what Chris is saying from a consumer's perspective is when I'm on a website and I'm looking for a place, and let's say I'm not going to buy or rent a place that doesn't have a pool. I can type in pool into Chris's search, and because his computer vision has scanned all the images, only the listings that have a pool pop up. Or I could say it needs a fireplace or something like that. And I find it super cool that we no longer have to leave it to the agent's description to tell us what is there, but we have the technology now that scans the imagery and actually informs the consumer ahead of time that these might be listings that are important for you. So Chris's solution can put together 4 or 5 properties that might match the list of things that I've come up with. Is that accurate, Chris? Is that?
Yeah, and look, there's a high level of customization that we use as well. So, we can customize the number of properties that you're serving, relative to match score. We also customize your brand tone of voice as well. So, Peter, obviously, Gary Ashton in the US, he likes to talk about how his team has the intel, right? So we kind of get that across all of his messaging, all of your own branding in the chat as well. We actually started with using our own branding, and as soon as we switched to kind of white labeling it, we got 2x the engagement, which was really cool. We've just got on here in New Zealand an agency that really focuses on new builds. So their kind of line of questioning and information they're seeking varies a little bit. They're much more keen to understand like the consumer's current information. Are they approved for finance? So it really comes down to the information that you're trying to get and sort of trying to empower your agents with before connecting with them.
Wicked. We're gonna have to move along. So we've got about 10 minutes before we finish. And by the way, if you're on the call and you want to ask any hard questions of the guests, be my guest and put them in the chat. I'd more than willingly pass on difficult questions that no one can answer. So feel free to do that if you're listening in today. Secondly, this is the big thing for me is. I'm going to go around the group and I'm going to ask you one question and get an answer, hopefully. 2 questions, actually. So I'm going to start again with Christian. He's been silent for way too long. Christian, did you expect to win an award at the Proptech Association?
We were nominated for 2 awards, so we thought, okay, our chances are a little bit better, but definitely not expecting to win at all.
Yep.
No.
And since you won, have you noticed any uptick, any increase? Have you used that award to spread? It's only been less than a month. So I'm not expecting that you've sold the world, but.
No, we did get an inquiry though from the Royal Commission of Riyadh City in Saudi Arabia. They found us through an article on LinkedIn, and we've been commissioned to go through a tendering process for a citywide digital twin. And it's a pilot program which will essentially be visualizing 4 square kilometre radius of the city of Riyadh. So not in Australia, but
that is sick.
Referred, and so it's a pretty monumental opportunity.
Congratulations. I hope you get it.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Yeah.
Let's go to Ludwina. Second, did you expect to win? And has there been a windfall coming with that win? It's a lot of W's.
Oh, look, I think when you enter an award, well, I do anyway, I do it with the best intention of hopefully winning. It's a lot of work that goes into it. And, I've entered a number of awards over the 29 years I've been, an entrepreneur for. And I entered last year and we were a finalist. And I thought, okay, well, how can I up the ante for this year? So I really went into it with the high hope that we would win. But you can never expect. That's very unreasonable to think that way, I think. But the outcome has just been amazing. And I always say to people in business, once you've won the award, that's just really the start of it. And you need to milk it for all you can. We've, got some offers of partnerships now, lots of conversations with, various different councils, community groups, businesses where one of the great things, and I think, this has just been phenomenal, is that the sponsor of our award, Direct Connect, who's owned by Red Energy, they have been incredibly supportive. And I just had a meeting with them last week, and they in the office in Melbourne, and they shot a whole bunch of videos which are going to be releasing about the room exchange and our win. And things like that just happen naturally after something like this it's pretty phenomenal. There's more, but things that haven't been solidified as yet. And I highly expect that there'll be more around the corner. It's just been amazing.
Yep. And you raise a really, really good point. You know, a lot of PropTech vendors say to me, why should I go in for awards? And yes, if you win the award, you've got it. Hopefully it's sitting on your mental piece. I've still got Chris's here at my house, by the way. He hasn't seen his yet. He wasn't able to attend the awards. But yeah, hopefully, you know, it's something that you can put up, especially in sales pitches and when you're going out there. But by far and away, the most important reason to go to the Proptech Association Awards is you've got 350 people from the industry who are in the same room. You know, and if you can't do one deal out of that, then you're doing it wrong. So, you know, that by far and away, it for me, it's more about the networking and catching up with. I haven't seen Christian for a year. I caught up with Christian at the awards. You know, a brief catch up on how he's going, what he's doing. They're the times where you can come together and you're not having to sell to clients at the same time, like at a conference or an expo. So, yeah, you raise a really good point. Let's go to Kylie over in Perth. Kylie, did you expect to win? Was it in the bag from the start?
No, we were up for 3 awards. And I guess, you know, what Ludwina and yourself both said kind of covers it off, right? You go in there with, you know, all the hope in the world that you walk away with an award. But part of the process is actually completing that application. So, you know, it's very therapeutic to do. It does take a lot of time and it does take a lot of energy. But it does remind you of why you do what you do. And it's also a really good opportunity to sit back and reflect on what you started with, your original vision. Have you stayed true to that course? Have you had to pivot? If so, why? How did that make you feel? And just making sure that your values and beliefs sort of align with why you created the company in the first place. So there's a whole process that comes with not just winning the award, but that application of the award as well. But I entirely agree. It's been an excellent opportunity to connect with people. We've got on the radar of people that didn't really know who we were or what we did. The opportunities that have come our way are huge. The conversations, just that you've got to have a starter conversation. And sometimes these guys have got so many people pitching at them every day of the week. It's really hard sometimes to stand out in amongst that. So to be able to actually say that, you know, 1, you actually have won the award, 2, you've gone through that application process again, so you're a lot more solid, and that reminder of, you know, why we do what we do. And then, you know, for the team, what we do is hard. Building technology is really hard. And so to be able to come away with an award, it's a really nice reminder for the team as well, who aren't working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, because that's not what a PropTech does or is or probably ever will be. So it's a really nice reminder for them as well to be able to just sit there and look at that award every week on the shelf. Independent
recognition is really, really good. You know, Kylie, can I ask, have you submitted for award before? I know Ludwina said she had. Have you?
Yeah, we submitted last year and we're a finalist. That was the first one we'd submitted for as a team.
Christian, have you?
We submitted last year but didn't make the finals, so yeah.
Okay, so hang on a second here. This is really good because there'll be a bunch of PropTechs listening to this who, number one, either haven't submitted an award or did submit an award and didn't win. And what you're saying is sometimes it's timing, and you should continue to submit even if you don't win, right?
Absolutely. The application process is so good, but you also have to look at, like Ludwina said, she, you know, up the ante. Sometimes as an entrepreneur, it is hard to put into words how good you think you are or how good you think your product is. It's really easy for other people to tell you how amazing it is. But when you're doing that yourself, sometimes I think we tend to hold back a little bit and don't really go that full hog on saying, actually, you know what, it is amazing technology, and you know, we are really worthy winners of this award. So it's good. It's all part of your growth, personally and professionally.
Yep, and congratulations on that. I know how hard you've been working, so thoroughly deserved. Now let's go to the elephant in the room, although I don't know, which is Christopher. Christopher, you have not submitted twice for this awards. You wanted them the first go, didn't you?
Yeah, so this was our first time. We weren't kind of sure, I suppose, what to expect, and didn't kind of have much expectation of winning with that in mind. But I think in terms of you know, kind of what it's done, everyone's brought up some really good points. My kind of view with a lot of, being an early stage business is so much of it is about momentum, right? And getting an award like this is such a good step in that direction. And there's the momentum internally that as a team you can go, yeah, we are on the right track here. With kind of recognition like this, it's awesome to be able to go out to existing customers and make them feel good about their decision to work with you. And also another reason to go out to prospects that, that isn't just, hey, are you ready to sign up yet? So I'm a huge believer in kind of the momentum that's come with it. And that's been a big benefit to us.
Actually,
Absolutely.
I'd just like to add to that is it's also been a really nice lead into a shareholder update. When you're talking about what you may not have been able to achieve and how you may be a little bit behind where you thought you would be, but hey, to walk away with an awards and we're heading into another capital raise, you may want to participate.
Well played. I see what you did there. Anyone with funds? Kylie, Dillon, Realtime, Conveyancer. Look, we've taken up 45 minutes, but and I can't see any questions in the chat. So if you're listening and online, you've still got time to put them in there. What I thought I'd do is go around and just get one last final thought. Before I do, I want to acknowledge Stone and Chalk, who put this particular webinar together. They're sponsors of the Proptech Association. So very thankful to Marianne Lempertang and Alex who set this up. Thank you for putting us all together. We truly appreciated it. The other thing I would like to put out there is that if you've just joined, the Proptech Association are having its annual forum. It is coming up in Sydney, and it is on the 19th of October. Did I get that right, Kylie? 19th, fact checking me. 19th of October. If you want to participate in that, it's another opportunity to get, if you're a PropTech, to get in front of other PropTechers. We're going to discuss a lot of issues or items that are relevant to Proptech Association, or just anyone with a property technology company, really. And last year there were a lot of players from around the industry. I know Laura also came to that. Did you not, Laura? Is where you found out about this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it true that you just go to conferences? Is that all you do?
It's 50% true.
50% true. We need people like you in the community, so please keep coming to our conferences. But if you are after any more details on that, duck on over to the Proptech Association website. I'm sure we'll put a link at the end of this conversation down in the chat as well anyway. But just a final thought. We've got about a minute for each of you. Let's whip around. Let's go to Chris first, because I've been putting him on the end. Chris, do you have a final thought? What would you say to somebody considering putting themselves up for award at the Proptech Association?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very valuable thing to do. And I think what Kylie mentioned was super valuable in terms of it really does have you, I suppose, kind of force you to reflect on what you're doing and where you're going, and perhaps kind of look at your business holistically, as opposed to that day-to-day grind that you can get stuck into when you're, short of resources and kind of scrambling to make ends meet, which is often the case with being a startup business. And in terms of other thoughts, like if any brokerage or agent's interested, email me.
How do they find you?
Chris at ListAssist.ai.
Yep.
And love to talk kind of more about home search and some of the results that we're getting. Reach out and we'll organize a time to kind of run through some of the companies we have live. And Laura, we'll talk in the next half hour.
Definitely.
Great. Christian, how do people contact you? Do they have your personal mobile phone number like I do, or you're not handing?
That's only for you. No, you can visit our website, immersive.com.au.
And any words for anyone considering going in the awards?
Definitely do it. Just like the game-changing introductions that you have, chance introductions. I know from being up here locally in Brisbane, Proptech B&E, having been associated with those guys who are closely linked with the Proptech Association as well. You'll go to an event and it might just be a Christmas event or something like that, but you'll meet someone, you'll forge a relationship. Just pardon the pun, but immerse yourself into the Proptech scene and you'll go far.
I see
Big
what you
finish.
did with that.
Big
Great finish. Ludwina, the Room Exchange, how do people find out more about you, or how do they engage with your platform? Where would you like to direct them to?
theroomexchange.com. Just look at the name up on the screen there.
Yep.
And or connect with me on LinkedIn as well, please. I'm very interested in having conversations, particularly in the real estate industry. If they're looking, if they're having to consistently turn away people that they can't find rental properties for, we could help them. In terms of why you should enter the award, I think one of the things that we haven't mentioned is that if you are in the property technology space, winning this award, in my mind, is the highest industry award in Australia that the Room Exchange could have won. And I think that's something that's really important to look at. It's not just a regular business award. It's not a women's award. It's not sort of a general category award. To actually win this, in my mind, is the highest regard that we could have got, and particularly in the environmental, social and sustainability space right now. So I think that's something to really consider. So if you are in the PropTech space, this is the award to actually win. Did you like my pitch there?
I did. That was very good. And just before I move on to Kylie, Dillon, you've got a podcast. What is that?
Oh, the Room Exchange podcast.
Yeah,
so
brilliant.
If you just go on all major podcast directories, we've got Peter on there. Laura's coming up on there soon.
I wouldn't have led with me. I would have led with Laura. Don't tell them I'm on there. They'll never join.
Yeah, but we talk about all different topics to help people rent better, and all different topics that are helping to support the housing crisis, the rental crisis, and conversations around how we can improve.
Fantastic. Kylie, where do people find you? Do they have to get on a plane and go to Perth?
Yeah. No, because usually I'm anywhere but here anyway. So.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, you and Laura are competing for who goes to the most conferences at the moment.
Yes. Realtime.com.au, obviously all social media channels. Touching on what Christian said, I absolutely believe it is incredibly important to immerse yourself into the PropTech space, whether it is within your local state. For me, I'm a huge fan of Proptech Association Australia, having been involved with it since day one when Kylie Davis reached out. I think it is worth acknowledging that I talk about it this all the time, that what we do is really hard, but it also can be an incredibly lonely place. And the Proptech Association Australia, you will meet so many people that feel like you do, have been where you have been before. And it's worth having those conversations. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know, right? And within that Proptech Association Australia space, there will always be someone that is just going to be a friendly shoulder or a friendly ear. And ask the judges for feedback on your awards. Go through the process. It is hard, but it's part of why you do what you do. Listen to the feedback and grow from it.
Now, the one thing that I did ask is, how do people contact you?
Oh, I said Realtime.
They have to go to Realtime Conveyancer.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Now,
Peter, can I just say one thing? I think
Yes.
we need to give a big shout out to Kylie Davis and Jennifer Harrison as well from PropTech. They have been so incredibly supportive. There's so much that they do that nobody sees that they do, and I'm just eternally grateful for everything. The promotion, the support, all of it. Like even just putting us on.
Heroes.
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Yep. No, they are both amazing. They run my life as well. So thank you for beating me to the punch. And now, the other person I want to give a special plug to is Laura Shooter, who, even though I've slightly taken the piss out of her on the call today, Laura is heavily engaged in nearly all areas of property in Australia. And your real estate agency, yourself and Samuel are both SJ Shooter. Is that correct?
Correct. And SJ Shooter Real Estate.
And if people want to find you, where do they go? SJ Shooter.
Just sjshooter.com.au, and also you find me on LinkedIn. I do a fair bit on there.
Or at your nearest conference.
Or at your next conference, yes. Love the conferences. But I did just want to say, one of the other things about entering awards that I think is so important is it gives you this opportunity to kind of decide what things mean. And as you reflect on your journey, you kind of get to curate that story. And I think that's another really important aspect of it. And what I learned at PropTech Awards night was that we're actually pretty unique here in Australia to have a community like this. Apparently, as Peter would know, you've traveled all over the world, and you said that this is something special we have here. So I think it's something that PropTechers and practitioners need to get behind and get amongst.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for bringing that up. That's a really valid point. It is fairly unique. Chris, in New Zealand, do you have a Proptech Association?
Not to the best of my knowledge.
No, that's okay. You're welcome to join ours, or you already have. You're taking it over. Hey, look, we do have to go because I'm conscious that this has been an hour. Hopefully, if you've joined today, I'm hopeful that you've heard at least one Proptech solution that you never have before. If any of these companies have any interest to you, please reach out to them. I know all four of these companies, really, really great operators, great leadership. So I'd love you to reach out and engage with them if it is in your wheelhouse to do so, if this is of relevance to you. But more than that, congratulations on winning an award. I know it's not easy. Well done. Super pumped for all of you, and thank you for spending an hour with me on a Monday. That's probably right up there as far as charity is concerned as well. But look, I'm going to leave you to your day. Laura, thank you so much for coming along and asking the hard questions that I don't think of because I'm not selling anymore. It's greatly appreciated. I will catch up with you all before too long. Big thanks again, finally, to Stone and Chalk and the Proptech Association of Australia. And ciao, have a great week. I'll see you same time next month or something similar next month. Just keep an eye out on the website. Ciao, guys. Bye-bye.